Back with more Dollhouse. This is episode 3 of season 2. Hi, it's been 8 months. So if you got pregnant around the time I posted my last Dollhouse reaction, I hope you're looking forward to meeting your bundle of joy if they're not already here. Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? How about that? That's what happens when I don't actually include shows on my regular kind of lineup. I've done way too many shows. I got very busy with other things. And yeah, in case you didn't know, Dollhouse is a regular fixture now in the lineup until we're finished with the show. And I've caught up with the 100 at the time of recording this, so this is taking the 100 slot in my regular kind of cycle of shows. And yeah, instead of like starting a new show that I did actually originally have planned, and then just continue to do Dollhouse when I had the time, when I felt like it, stuff like that, I thought, you know what, let's just commit to getting this goddamn show done. So yeah, it's in the proper lineup now, which is great because I'm really excited to get back into it. I've been cringing through my old reactions because I hate watching myself back. Once I've edited and uploaded, I never rewatch my videos. But I have kind of rewatched a few of those to kind of recap on the events of this season so far. You know, get familiar with the characters again, and I'm very, very excited to carry on and see what's going to happen next with the rest of this season. So to fully kind of finish off the Dollhouse, because I've really loved the show up till now, and I can't wait to carry on. So yes, we're back, and this is a regular thing until we're done. So get hyped. Dollhouse is back. I'm very excited. Hopefully you guys are too. Sorry it's been so long, but life gets in the way. But now we have time, so yeah. I did go to sleep for a little while, but I'm awake. So, Dollhouse, let's get into it.
Aren't little sister and Aunt Sheila having a time, though?
What?
The hell, some... What?
Yeah, that's my question.
Me? Right when it's my turn to play, everyone wants to quit.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
This is not how we play the game.
Well, neither's that. He looks a lot like Kate Blanchett, doesn't he? Oh! Echo, echo, echo.
I'm wet.
Dr. Saunders.
Dr. Saunders? Where is Dr. Saunders, please?
She's not here.
That's what I want to know.
There's a man. He's not his best.
Considering he was hit by a car.
Ah.
Have we determined yet if the condition is reversible?
So she's the sex fantasy for some egghead academic who can't get one of his real students to sleep with him.
Great.
I'm Kiki.
Kiki.
Well, first,
Let's have a Kiki.
You know why that looks like that? That's because Terry Cairns doesn't use that part of his brain. And that'd be where you find stored such things as empathy, compassion, aversion to disemboweling puppies. That I have serious ethical problems trying to wake him up.
Topher has ethical problems. Topher.
Way to land it.
Echo. Who's doing that? I am. Right, okay. So not exactly a
I beat him to that joke, so...
Adele, tell me there's been a breakthrough.
Of a kind?
Yeah.
Can your people bring him back?
There have been other indiscretions.
Women.
Survivors, I should call them. And when you have a survivor, you have a person that might be persuaded monetarily or by other means to stay quiet. But when all you have are
What a lovely family this is.
If he is to be questioned, we do it on my terms.
Oh, I just...
My terms. That's all.
Always the way. Wouldn't be out of place in a Cyndi Lauper video.
I suggested you
For what?
to interrogate a possible serial killer.
Serial killer. Thank God.
Oh shit!
Goodness gracious.
Hello, Terry.
Oh, man.
My office is open.
Oh, no. F for fantasy.
I probably never should have taken this course to begin with, but I figured it was medieval lit, not advanced evil. How hard could it be? So I skipped intro to evil or whatever, but how is it that I get an F when this guy that we're reading...
Because I think I can detect a little Allison in you.
Yeah?
Take another look, Terry.
Oh, boy.
Squint if you have to.
I told you, I've never seen.
We're gonna go all the Dark Knight.
This is exactly the wrong approach to take with Terry. He needs to know you're on his side.
But we're not on his side.
Exactly.
Belle, I know, my dear.
Gross.
Your real mother and sisters and your aunt are also living in the family home. You know what that makes you? Very weird.
I'm not weird.
Fair.
Alienated everyone in your life so you could surround yourself with the fakes, the copies. It made you feel like you had some control. You're not in control.
Kind of parallels Adele a bit.
Does this look like a guy who's in control?
Oh, shit.
She meant for this to happen.
Oh, you bitch! You bitch! What did she make you do, Terry?
I accidentally caved her head in.
They don't pay attention to Terry. They never let Terry play. No time for Terry.
Always a good sign when they speak in third person.
She knows she's the one with the real power.
What power?
Well, the same power that all women have.
I mean, you make a nice day, you make sh.
I wonder if Enver got to like watch the other guy film his scenes at first and then he to like copy his performance of it.
Where is Bradley?
He was right here.
Oh no.
False alarm, that was nothing.
How was that cacophony nothing?
Oh, distraction to get him out.
Bradley, this is entirely unacceptable.
We tried it your way, Addie. It
Oh,
didn't work.
God.
He's gonna have a little chat with his uncle. Everything will be fine.
Well. Everything will be fine, eh?
We've imprinted an active as a serial killer and then blindly let him loose upon the streets.
I wasn't saying that.
What's happening? Stop.
This is fucked up.
Find a weakness.
He's on foot.
Forgot how nice and light-hearted this show was. Those women are going to be confused as fuck when he walks in.
A rug was tucked around her buttocks large. I guess a fat ass was a good thing in the 1300s.
And I cannot
And
lie.
on her feet-
Don't play music. Oh, God. Leave.
What are you trying?
A remote wipe?
Why?
Oh, well, Victor Sluice doesn't have GPS, and apparently he's a serial killer. So, what are you going to attempt? He's going to his bio.
Boy's just done with this shit.
Tell me.
Uh-oh. He does not like this song.
You are an incredible woman.
Oh, fuck.
Goodness gracious.
I think she's sticking with that F.
Hello, Mr. Langton.
Now they don't even get a new Aunt Sheila.
Yeah. Call. Everybody's coming home. Hang on, that's my other line.
Has it gone into her? The serial killer guy.
If Terry is an echo, where did Kiki go?
Oh my god. Shouldn't be funny really, but oh my god.
Buying a good drink before you sleep.
Okay. I think you might be what?
Uh-oh.
Oh, Paul. Paul.
What did you ever leave me?
You got a problem?
How they come up with the ideas on this show just amazes me. Okay, now they're really going to be confused when he shows up.
Thank God. We thought that you were him.
I am him.
We just want to leave.
I'll just bet you do. Everybody always wants to leave Terry. How about you,
I wonder why.
Sheila? Did I fall asleep?
Oh.
You have to kill him.
What do you mean? We have to kill her.
Yes.
Oh.
No problem.
You need to stop him for that little boy. You won't get another chance.
Oh.
Echo, are you okay?
Now what do you do? That's the thing. Is it just okay to just kill him?
This way.
I think he dreams.
Not anymore.
Oh.
Goodness gracious.
Ah. Wait. What? Okay. Pretty solid episode overall. I did like that one. I think the idea of like getting inside the head of this like psychopath and serial killer and everything was really interesting, and the show does constantly amaze me the way they kind of take this initial concept of Dollhouse and how they can play around with it and do these really interesting kind of stories and all these character moments. I think sometimes that they do kind of favour those big ideas in favour of like the main arc of the show. But you know, we still have 10 episodes left of the season, so I think there's plenty of time to kind of delve a bit deeper into, you know, what's actually going on with Echo and her and Ballard kind of working together a bit. So there's plenty of time for that. But I did really love this idea of this Terry guy. And I thought the actor who played him at the start did a really, really good job. He was very creepy. And then seeing Victor have to embody him as well. And Enver's just so good in this show. Kind of embodying that. And then when they had like the twist of them trying to kind of shut that all down. But then the personalities kind of swapped between Echo and Victor. I love that idea. I thought that was very cleverly done. And that creepy professor, that's what you get, buddy. So yeah, everything with that I thought was really, really well done. I really loved this idea of the serial killer. Very, very uncomfortable viewing for a lot of this episode, but some really good stuff there. And some very powerful moments, I would say, with like the people that Terry had captured. All those girls trying to like work together to escape, and luckily, you know, most of them did get out okay. So, but there were some very uncomfortable scenes there, and that's even without the professor who just wanted to sleep with the students. So that's nice. Dollhouse definitely doesn't shy away from some people's dark desires, be it a serial killer or a professor who just wants to get some with a student and like live out his fantasy. And again, the ethics of all of this is quite crazy, and I did like how they kind of made the joke of that. Not that you shouldn't necessarily joke about it, but it was grounded within like the characters, with Boyd and Topher, where Topher's like, ethically, you know, I don't know how I feel about reviving this serial killer guy or saving him potentially, and Boyd's like, Topher has ethics. So that was really funny. I did enjoy that. I liked Boyd a lot in this episode as always. I liked his sass, and we didn't get a lot of him, but he was like so done. And when, you know, stuff started going really wrong, it was just like, well, another day in the office for Boyd. And I really liked that attitude. I thought it was very funny. I mean, it's a very good, I think, parallel to Topher in that respect, because Topher often goes a bit like, wah, and he's a bit like very outlandish at times, and Boyd's a lot more calm and reserved. So I always like it when those two kind of have some interactions. So I thought that was done very nicely. I liked the idea of like power being at play, and the theme of that throughout this episode with the Professor and Echo as, is it Kiki, I think her name was, talking about, her getting her own power and getting what she wants with it, even though that was actually a very creepy story. And honestly, I think they could have just focused on the serial killer thing. I think that was a lot more interesting, but I guess they wanted to do like the weird swap between Echo and Victor. But it would have been nice to just have Victor have his moment for the episode and he was like the villain, instead of just switching it back to Echo as the important doll again, And that happens a lot in previous episodes, so I don't think they necessarily needed it, but I did enjoy the twist nonetheless. So I thought that was quite well done overall. And yeah, then the power that Terry wanted to have over these people, like his fake family. I like the parallels between what Terry was doing to these women and kind of like positioning them how he wanted and using them as dolls, and obviously the people in the dollhouse, the parallels there, like very similar-ish kind of things I really liked, and kind of exploring that. And they touched on that again briefly when Ballard was questioning Terry, obviously in Victor's body, and kind of saying, it gives you control when you just have all these fakes around you that you can like manipulate and stuff. And they had Adele, and they kept cutting to Adele watching that conversation, and she has a lot of control over all the dolls in the dollhouse. So I kind of liked that parallel between those two. I thought that was very well done. Very timely kind of character moment there, because we often see how much Adele, is desperate to kind of control things and keep things in order, even though something goes wrong every single episode. They need to sort themselves out, really. But still, I did really enjoy how that parallel went down. And yeah, we're getting like trickles of Echo and Ballard and their little like plot and scheme that they kind of started when he became a handler at the start of the season. But I did enjoy Ballard just like being done with life, waiting for like Kiki to get dressed and changed and everything. And then when Boyd kind of gave him an out and said, we need you to work on a serial killer guy, he was like, oh, thank God. Because I think he was the audience in that moment, because whenever we got to the serial killer stuff, I was a lot more interested. As opposed to just creepy professor is creepy. Although the twist, obviously when the switch happened and he like stabbed the professor, that was nuts. I think we could have gotten maybe a bit more closure on that story if they were going to like focus on it as much as they did with the professor. So he was stabbed and he was like, oh, everything's going to be okay when Boyd came in, then we never saw him again. Felt like we needed an extra kind of scene to wrap up that arc. But again, if that meant less time focusing on the serial killer thing, I suppose I would have rather had that. Yeah, Topher continues to be Topher. It's so sad having watched Epitaph 1, knowing where Topher kind of goes and ends up. There's still always like a tinge of sadness to Topher's scenes now, but I actually kind of like that. I don't feel like the tension's been robbed from me. If Topher's ever like in serious danger in an episode, well, we've seen him in the future, so he's going to live. And normally that'd be like a downside, but because his future's so bleak, it's actually kind of interesting to see a bit more of how he might reach that point. So I do enjoy the bittersweetness, I guess, of seeing Topher still kind of right within himself and his own head and everything. But the fact that he was like complimenting his own brain and everything in this one is kind of like, ooh, just that few gut punches there when you know kind of what happens to him. So yeah, that was all very interesting, and the parallels between the dollhouse and Terry's dolls and everything. The naive uncle, what was that guy's problem? Like, my goodness. But I did like them exploring the ethics of, should we let Terry live? Should we just keep him in the coma forever? I think at the end, because obviously Terry flatlined, I take it Ballard killed him. So he can like, they said, I think Echo asked him like, I think he's dreaming or something, and Ballard's like, not anymore. So I guess they implied that he killed him at the end, which I can see Ballard doing, and I don't think the world's worse off with creepy Terry gone. So it's a very in-keeping decision, I think, for him. Very telling that it's nice that such a moral grey area in the dollhouse that's still kind of passing on to Ballard, even though I think a lot of people would agree with what Ballard did at the end. Did he have the right to kill that guy, even if he was like this disgusting serial killer psychopath? So that's very interesting, and the conversations a lot of these episodes can spark really gets you thinking, this show, and I really do love that about it. It's one of my favourite things about it. So that was all cool, but then also at the end, Echo seems to quote Terry, so I don't know if there's still a bit of his personality in her, or if he's like escaped into her somehow, and maybe they're going to continue with that plot thread, or if that's just like Echo mirroring him or echoing him, ha ha ha. So I don't know if he's like actually like his personality is kind of engraved in Echo now, and that's he might come out again and attack or whatever. I don't know if that's going to be a thing to explore, but I imagine it's going to be something they kind of delve into a bit more. There isn't even the episode on that, or even remotely hinted at that. So even though Ballard did kill Terry at the end, I assume, there's still a bit of kind of living on there. And again, it's just another reason to not do this whole Dollhouse nonsense and just shut the place down. Gordon Ramsay needs to get in and shut the place down. But yeah, again, just the ethics and everything with how the professor was using his kind of, his doll, I guess, with Echo. And the uncomfortableness of that, and then, yeah, kind of crazy. And I did like that there was still a bit of levity in the episode when Victor then got Kiki, her personality in him. He started doing the dancing and everything, and he even won like the fight there, and Bella trying to comfort him. So there was still a bit of lightheartedness that I think helped break up the episode, because, it was getting very dark and twisted throughout in many different places. So I did enjoy them kind of splitting it up with a bit more lighthearted stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just really, really excited to see what may occur next, given that little ending there with Echo and Terry's kind of maybe consciousness or something's kind of passed on to her a bit, or there's still a bit in there intact, which is a very interesting idea. As we saw Echo at the start of the season trying to be like, oh, I need to find all these people and these real people. Now she's kind of getting filled up with real people, but it's a very bizarre and complicated situation, and there's a lot to kind of unpack with this show, and I really, really enjoy that aspect. But yeah, overall, very, very solid episode. I did enjoy this a lot. It's great to be back with Dollhouse. The idea of Terry in that whole plot line was definitely more interesting to me than the Professor bit, but I did like the kind of switch when the personalities swapped. And yeah, some nice character moments with Ballard and Boyd and Adele, and the parallels going on with what Terry was doing with his dolls, the dolls of the Dollhouse, the ideas of like power and empowerment and stuff like that. We had with Kiki and the Professor, and also, the people who were captured by Terry empowering themselves to escape at the end there as well. So some very uncomfortable stuff in this episode, but I also did appreciate the kind of lightheartedness that they scattered near the kind of final third of the episode. So yeah, very solid entry overall, and I look forward to seeing where we take things next for the rest of the season. But yeah, it's nice to have Dollhouse back on a regular basis, and yeah, good episode. Until my next reaction, thanks for watching.